And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So today I have my good friends Smith and Stu. They're back here again. We're going to be talking about 1997's I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm excited to talk about this. And let's go on ahead. Let's start the show up. Let's do this, guys. And hey, guys, welcome back to the show. I do appreciate you guys coming out here talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Hello. Thanks for having us back again.
Oh, you're welcome. I definitely enjoyed our review for The Cable Guy. That's actually been one of the top downloads from March. So I was actually...
Oh, well, you are welcome.
Thank you. I have like 500 downloads off of that.
Those funny guys.
That bald British man.
But, you know, now we're going to talk about something a little bit darker. We're going to talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. We're going to talk about the nostalgia first. And then after the nostalgia, we're going to strip it away because that's not going to be a thing anymore. And let's talk about it. So when was the first time that you guys seen I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah, so I'm the same age as Smith. So I would have seen this not in a movie theatre because I would have been a little bit too young. So I would have been about 12, 13 when it came out. So I didn't watch it until it came out on a video rental. But I remember it. I'm not sure if it was the same in the States, but it used to take forever for video rentals to come out after cinema release. You know, sometimes it could take up to 6 months to a year, something like that. So
Right.
yeah, the minute it was available to rent, that's when I saw it. So I probably would have saw this early 1998, either very late 1997 or early 1998 on movie rental.
Yeah, so I had it on VHS when I was younger. Now, whether or not I got that for Christmas 97 or Christmas 98, I don't really know, but far too young, so I'd have been 12 or 13 when I received it. Thanks, Mum and Dad. But I was very big into horror films, always have been very big into horror films. So this coming out around about that time of Scream and the renewed slasher boom of the late 90s, it would very much have been on my rotation of films to watch again and again and again.
Okay. And what would you give the nostalgia factor as far as what would you give it out of 10 for both of y'all?
So when we say nostalgia, when we think back, that was a really cool movie. Is that what you mean?
Right.
Yeah, good solid 8. I held this in higher regard with Scream. Like Smith said, when there was the slasher boom, initially some good slashers came out, and then they sort of digressed and got worse and worse and worse. But yeah, this one, good nostalgia value because it's a good premise as well. I like the premise. It's not just a dumb slasher movie. There's actually a point to it.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, slightly less. In fact, I think time has damaged this film for me in my memory. I think at the time I would have enjoyed it, but over the years, it's sort of dropped off in a way that Scream hasn't. So Scream has managed to keep itself relatively consistent
We'll get to that in a minute for me too.
Through sequels and it's like a stone cold classic. This one dropped off, and actually, when I thought about this film and when you asked us to come on and review it, I was like, oh god, do I have to sit through? I Know We Did Last Summer, because as I remember, it's quite boring. And that's how I remembered it. So from a nostalgia perspective, I would have probably put it about a 5 in the I understand its place. I understand it being part of that slasher boom that I was so fond of, but it was for me sort of a lesser entry due to the low body count and the kind of slower pace.
Okay. So for me, I remember going to the movie theaters with my mom. I did go see this in the theater. I was maybe 11, maybe 12 when I went to go see this. So I was exposed to this at an early age, and I wound up getting it at Blockbuster on VHS. And I remember not liking it as much, even as a kid, liking it as much the second go around or whatever, because I think about it like this. You're in the dark room with all these other people getting scared, and then you're in your living room, and there's just nothing really scary about it. Because you can either watch this during the daytime or nighttime. Or whatever. So that part, but I also remember reading the book in the 7th grade. This is like years after. And the only reason why we picked I Know What You Did Last Summer for the book read was because of the fact that it started off at page 5. So that means that we don't have to worry about, so that before we can actually just skip all the other pages and go straight into page 5. So that way we could just, basically breeze through it as an easy read.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why we read it. And the book is totally different from what the movie is. It's about a guy with a handgun that's killing people. Yes, they still run over the guy, but instead of a hook, the guy is killing people with a gun.
Yeah, that's not as interesting for a slasher film. I think when you're trying to adapt something and fit it into the niche that you're trying to fit it into, and obviously this has that post-Scream legacy about it, and it's clearly capitalizing on that. You wouldn't have someone running around with a gun because it's not that interesting. I mean, interestingly, I think we've covered this potentially the last time we were here, but it's interesting you say you saw it when you were 11, 12 years old at the theatre, because I think, and whether you know this or not, you probably do, is that in the UK we don't have the equivalent of an R rating. So we have very kind of set, if you're 12, you see a 12. If you're 15, you see a 15. You can't go and see stuff beyond that age. Whereas I understand with an R rating, if it's an R, you know, fill your boots as long as you've got an adult with you.
Right, exactly. But so as far as me as nostalgia factor is, I'm going to have to give it maybe at least a 7.5 out of 10. Like there's things that I liked about it. And stuff like that. As far as nostalgia goes, I remember Jennifer Love Hewitt being in this movie. Typo Negative. The soundtrack is good too.
It is good.
Typo Negative. You have Korn. And I was like, and you also have a little bit of a glimpse of The Offspring in this as well. And I'm like, and I started thinking about this when I was watching. I was like, you know what would be really cool if they actually put Korn in this instead of Typo Negative. Then I looked at the soundtrack. I'm like, oh, they did. Okay, they just never had it in the movie itself, but still, 7.5 for me. I was excited about we'll get into the opening scene and stuff like that too. But yeah, so now that we talked about it nostalgically and at our 12-year-old selves, we're gonna go on ahead, erase the nostalgia by doing this, breaking it scene by scene. So, summer, a time for bikinis, bonfires, and accidental murder. That's right. Today we're diving into the 1997 teen Scream classic, I Know What You Did Last Summer. The movie that taught us two things: don't drink and drive, and if you kill someone, maybe don't send them a thank you note. This movie has
don't
at
drink
all
and drive.
As
if we didn't know that already.
Exactly. This movie has it all. Suspicious fishermen, brooding Freddie Prinze Jr., and Jennifer Love Hewitt screaming at the sky like she's everything to summon Thor. And
what are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
I wonder what you were doing there, John. That's brilliant.
Also, a shout out to the killer who apparently raided a Bass Pro Shop and taught, it's slicker and hook combo, fashion and murderer. So hide your secrets, sharpen your fish hooks, and prepare to sell each other's names dramatically in the rain, because this is our review of I Know We Did Last Summer. And yes, we still know what you did last summer. So, the night of the 4th of July, Julie James, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Helen Shivers, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, Barry Cox, who's played by Ryan Phillippe, and Ryan Bronson, Freddie Prinze Jr., go out of town to celebrate returning in Barry's new car. They hit and apparently kill a man while thinking what to do. Julie's friend Max arrives. Julie tells him everything is fine, so he leaves and goes on the Big Bang Theory. They dump the corpse in the ocean and agree to never discuss again on what happened. So
it doesn't fuck around. It gets straight in there.
It does get straight into the plot.
Yeah.
This is something that might only mean anything to people that are listening in the UK, but the guitar riff on the song that plays over the very opening credits sound an awful lot like an advert for chocolate that we had called Flake.
Did it?
And as I was watching it, I was like, oh, only the flakiest, crumpliest chocolate will do when you're murdering someone with your car.
That opening shot's great when it all pans over the sea and there's a helicopter shots and you get that dude sitting on the cliff. Yeah, that
very well
really
shot.
Good.
Very well shot, which is interesting because the director, is it Jim Gillespie, hasn't done anything of any worth afterwards. The only other thing that I saw that I've seen on the list of his films is a film with Sylvester Stallone called Detox, which is absolutely terrible. Sorry,
see, I haven't seen. But you know what, though? You're absolutely right with the opening credits. I thought that was pretty cool on the wide angle shot. That you have the waves. You also have the electric guitar of Typo Negative being played over the waves to show us the danger and the elements of the storm that's about to happen. With not only with the kids, but also with the person that they run over. The thing that I like the most, though, it kind of reminds me of the Lost Boys opening scene.
Yeah.
Where you have
Yes, it does.
And the wide angle shot, the Ferris wheel and stuff like that. It's very atmospheric on how they handle that. And I thought that was pretty cool on how they handled that little bit maybe of a throwback from the Lost Boys. But yeah, I definitely love Type O Negative being in there. And it's also called Summer Breeze. I think that's the name of the song by Type O Negative. So it's perfect for I Know What You Did Last Summer to put this summer song into this for the opening scene.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, then you actually have this whole entire thing played out where, you know, Helena winds up winning the pageant. Then you have this whole entire banter between Barry and Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. And it's like, yeah, she does these, she just pumps up her breast to make them bigger. And he goes, yeah, they look anatomically correct.
It's very odd, this scene. I've written down, this is what we're missing in films these days: sexism. Also, there's a bit of Jennifer Love Hewitt goes, look at her, she was born for this. I was like, what? Standing in her underwear? What was she born for?
Shitty beauty pageant.
Yeah, and then when
so you notice they only interview her. They don't get all the other girls to interview. They interview her. Oh yeah, you've won. Wait, what?
And the winner is the only person who's been allowed to say anything so far. Who's the audience for that?
Pervs.
It's like, well, we need her to set up with all these other main characters to make us care about her. So let's make her win this pageant so that way we have an excuse to bring her back in a year after.
Yeah.
So she wins the pageant. That's what I saw. I saw the fact that, hey, look, we're going to go ahead, bring her in just for a few minutes so that way it'll be a year later. And therefore now we have a reason to care about her.
Are pageants a big thing in the US?
They are in certain states as well. Beauty pageants and stuff like that.
I don't think we've had stuff like this in the UK since the 1970s.
No,
I mean, I might be wrong about that, but like, it's not a thing. Like, I've never been to one.
But when they do,
I've never been to one either.
Good.
I think when they do Miss World, they have Miss England, Miss Scotland, Miss Wales, and that sort of shit. But I think that's just one. I don't think like every city, within the UK has a pageant, because it is a little bit weird.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't like beauty pageants and stuff like that. I'm not the type of person that would go on ahead and watch a full 2-hour, 3-hour thing of beauty pageants and let them change out their different wardrobes. So they're not my thing.
You really have to have nothing else going on to spend an afternoon doing something like that. I've got no interest.
But also, too, though, I mean, you also have this little small town that is cheering for this beauty pageant, which I find hilarious.
Yeah. I do like the small town, though. The small fishing town is very cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a unique setting for this kind of thing, and it feels quite lived in, and it feels realistic. Like, you don't get the sense, it's not like Scream. It's not this kind of college town where you've got a big school and all these things. It seems a lot more
grounded.
But more grounded, more rural. Certainly.
Yeah.
It's an interesting setting. There's also a bit in this where they're talking with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I think one of them says, "Oh, when you go off to become a hotshot lawyer," a piece of information that has no further relevance to the rest of the film.
No, it doesn't.
It's she's going to be a lawyer. Oh, no, don't worry about that.
She's going to move to New York to be a lawyer. Well, no, hold on. She actually mentions the fact that, Jennifer Love Hewitt is going to be a lawyer.
Yes.
But the friend is going to be an actress. So she's going to move to New York to be an actress.
Shouldn't you move to LA to be an actress? Would that make more sense?
Well, some people actually move to New York.
Is it theater New York?
Actors and actresses. But at the same time, though, in the 90s, it was always Los Angeles, Hollywood, that. But yeah, she's like, I'm going to go up to New York. I'm going to be an actress, and that's going to be my career. So how many of us do this, though, even in high school, where we're like, oh, we're going to go on ahead. We're going to move out of our town. We're going to try and be bigger than who we think we're going to be. And we don't do jack shit.
Yeah, at 18, you're not going to do that at all, are you?
Right.
Well, exactly. I mean, I still think I'm going to go to Hollywood and be an actor. Like, I'm 40, so but I'm still. It's the dream.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm living the dream right now. I get to do a podcast with you guys. That's my dream. So, but then we actually have this other party scene that happens between Max and Barry.
Oh man! And such a piece of shit.
It reminds me of high school all over again. It's like, you better be lucky he's holding me back. Yeah, you better be lucky. Or else I would kick your ass. No, it just reminds me of those high school days. Okay, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Just-
You want to go, bro?
Yeah, come
It's
on, I'm right here.
But it's like Max likes Julie. It's quite obvious,
Yeah.
right? But instead of Ray pushing him to say fuck off, it's Barry that does it, which I think is really interesting. It's like, why does Barry hate Max so much? I don't know.
He's a dick.
He's a real
I
dick
think
in this.
This is the
he
whole
is a
thing.
ball bag in this. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
over the top douchebag that you want killed off on screen. And he
Yeah.
does it perfectly well. But
Yep.
it's like he did cocaine before he decided to go to this party.
Yeah.
He's definitely all over the place. Like
Mm.
he's acting like Julie's his girl, but instead it's actually Ray's girlfriend. And he's just stepping in. He's like, "Yeah, you need to go and head back off, man. She's not into you." And then he winds up calling Ray a rich boy. I'm like, he doesn't look anything like a rich guy.
Yeah.
The only person that looks rich is Barry.
You see
Yeah.
Barry's house later, he's loaded.
Yeah, but it's the point
Yeah.
where Ray says he has, I don't have money like the rest of you. We see Sarah Michelle Gellar's house later, and she does not look like she has money. I don't know what he's getting at there. Isn't it funny as well? Just look at this to think that the one who went on to have the most longevity in their career was Johnny Galecki. Like, out of all of these guys, he's the one that was most relevant for the longest. And then he was in that terrible Ring sequel.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
that's
you
right.
ever
Oh,
seen
yeah, I
that
forgot about
Ring sequel. Yeah, most people did. It's awful.
But then, he winds up resurrecting his career with Big Bang Theory and
Yep.
stuff like that too. Before that, it was Roseanne.
Yeah.
It was
And
in Roseanne. Yeah.
but I just thought it was crazy. My wife's like, I didn't know he was in this movie. I said, I forgot he was in this movie.
Mm.
And he started young as well. Like we covered Christmas Vacation at Christmas
Yep.
time. I was like, shit, Johnny Galecki's in it when he's like 12.
Yeah,
You know?
he's had a career, but he's one of those longevity kind of careers of just like kind of journeyman actors that's just in a lot of things.
Yeah.
None of it particularly good, but a lot of it.
Yeah. Consistent work.
Your opinion on the Big Bang Theory may vary, but I hate it.
I like it. It's fun.
I like it. It's good just to, just throw on in the background, laugh at a few
Jelly.
things,
No, I'd rather have silence.
you know.
Anyway,
But I also put in my notes, I said, Barry's haircut kind of reminds me of Justin Timberlake before Justin Timberlake thought it was cool.
I always thought he looked like Justin Timberlake. Even back then, I used to get those two confused, especially when Justin Timberlake transitioned into movies. I always used to get those two mixed up.
Exactly.
Why does he have packet noodles on his head? That's what it looks like. It's like
Horrible
he's got some packet noodles and just put it on his head. And
Yeah.
That'll
It's bad
do.
because you don't have no hair and he does. That's all. it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, John.
oh. Well, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But anyways, so now we have where they're driving there, and you actually have Barry. No one's gonna drive my car but me. I'm fine. I don't need anybody to be a designated driver. I'm perfectly fine. And you have Helena who winds up telling him, "Look, give me the keys." You have Ray who winds up driving the car, and then he winds up, and then all of a sudden Barry just goes up top where the sunroof is on his BMW, and he's the rich guy. By the way, we don't even know where Ray lives.
That's true.
We get to see
I
where
assume it's
Julie
Shaq.
lives. Oh yeah, we also don't get to see where Helen lives either. So we don't even know where those.
do.
We do.
Yeah,
We see
okay,
where Helen
never
lives.
mind.
Yeah, we do. See,
Yeah, that's right, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know anything about Ray. Poor Ray don't even probably is homeless, living on the boat docks.
Yeah.
So there's
But
I did think this actually as we got towards the end of the film, because they want to towards the end set up that perhaps Ray is the killer.
Yeah.
He is slightly underserved by this film. He's barely in it. Like beyond
Yeah.
past this first scene, he barely registers after this. He's in a couple of little bits here and there because they're trying to set him up as a red herring. And so you don't get as much about him as you get some of the others. You get the kind of the broad brushstrokes of he's slightly poorer than the rest of them. He doesn't have as much in the way of career ambitions or opportunities. So yeah, he probably does live in a shack down by the waterfront.
Well, we learn later on his dad was a fisherman, so that's another. Oh, okay, so maybe he's the killer. So yeah.
right. But then you have them speeding around the curve. You also have the other thing, and during the cutscene, you have someone that's going to jump off a cliff. We don't know where that's going.
That's really
And-
well played off. I like that.
It is really well paid off.
Yeah.
Because you think this is the dude they're going to run over, so that's very clever how they do that.
Right, because it just all of a sudden does a jump scene where basically it jumps to that, and then it cuts into the whole entire beauty pageant.
Yep.
And then we get that whole entire buildup of, what happens later on. And we're thinking that he run over this poor kid that Ray did. And he goes, my dad's going to be so pissed. Da, 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 da. But I can't help but laugh at the whole thing with Barry being on in the sunroof because my mind automatically goes to Scary Movie.
Yes.
Now.
Scary Movie, watching this movie, because they parody it so much. All I've got in my head is Scary Movie. Like, that bit when the beehive goes on his head and all that sort of shit, Scary Movie ruined this movie for me.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes, I got blood on me, but it's not my blood. And they're like, what did you run over? And then all I could think of the Scary Movie again was like, oh, you ran over a boo.
Where's the foot?
Where's the foot?
Especially in Scary Movie, it's shot for shot exactly the same. To the finest detail. Yeah.
But what did you guys think of this scene? I mean, I thought it was over the top in a sense because of Barry and then overreacting with his car, not caring about who they ran over. Then again, he's a rich ball bag anyway, so he's not gonna care anyways.
Yeah, I think the way it sets it up, I think with him him acting out and being sort of the big loud drunk, is it kind of sets a bit of a fever pitch for the scene. And I think as you're heading towards sort of the inciting incident for the rest of the film, that's quite a useful piece of direction and a piece of kind of acting. I think the whole thing works really, really well from the beginning, like from the bit with the start on the beach. I mean, you get the kind of the shocky urban legend about the guy with the hook for a hand, which is a bit on the nose, and you can really sense like the Kevin Williamson snarky, cultural reference vibe. All the way from that through to this, you get a nice sense of character and who everybody is, from the way they act, from the way they interact with each other. I do think it's funny as well when he's like, "Oh no, we've hit this guy. Oh, the cop's going to be here. They're going to think I was driving." It's like, you're a preppy white guy. You'll be fine.
Right, you'll be good.
You're not going to get arrested. Talking about.
I do like that little touch as well. It's not that just run over. It's like, oh yeah, I'm drunk and there's alcohol all over the car. And it's July 4th. It's like, yeah, you guys are fucked. You're really fucked.
And then Ray's even thinking the same thing though. This is manslaughter. I'm gonna go to jail. We're all gonna go to jail. There's alcohol because that's not your alcohol. You're gonna be fine. You're sober. There's not any though, but they're not gonna care about that. They're not gonna care about the breathalyzer test. They're gonna take one look at the car, go inside the car, smell alcohol, then look for the body. Guess what? Your guys are screwed. Your futures are ruined. At this point,
I don't think all of their futures are. I think Barry's is, regardless of whether or not.
Yeah, Barry was going to try and be an NFL football player.
Yeah, not with that build, but
but they're all a bit accessory. But then again, it's not murder. They kept saying murder, but it wasn't murder. It was an accident. It becomes murder when they basically leave the body.
When they did what they did, that's when it was murder.
When it becomes murder.
And then they were just going to go ahead and do a hit and run, which is even worse because that is a crime.
That is worse.
It's such a shitty dilemma to be in because on the one hand, maybe like Helen in the back could have just gone, look, I did nothing wrong. I was in the back. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't driving. It's not my car. So technically, you could say she didn't do anything wrong. But I don't think the cops would see that.
Julie as well would have been fine.
Yeah,
right.
But Ray was driving and Barry was drunk and being reckless and caused that to happen. So between those two, it's both their fault.
What do you think of the beach scene, though, with them just talking about urban legends and stuff like that? What did you...
It just sets up a hooked killer later on, so like Smith said, a little bit on the nose, but I didn't mind it because that's when they're talking about, oh, you're going to go off and forget about me and that sort of thing. So there's some nice scenes there, a little bit of character development, not an awful lot, but a little bit.
No, but it's enough for this kind of film. I mean, for a film like this that runs an hour 40, you've got enough time to do a little bit of this stuff, and they take the time to do it here. It's interesting because they set up the hook with a hand. They then, when they are dumping the guy's body, mention it again. They said, like an escaped lunatic with a hook for a hand. Do you think, given that he wasn't dead, he's just sat there going, oh, I'll remember that for later. That will come in useful. I think it's fine. I mean, there was a bit of me that was like, oh, you're going to have sex on the beach. That will be uncomfortable and terrible for everyone.
Yeah, and they both do it.
Sand.
It's like sandpaper sex.
Yeah, sand plus friction. Count me in.
Yeah.
Looks a bit chilly down there as well.
You get bitey insects. Nobody wants that.
And then Julie's like, "Are you sure?" And then I'm like, "The dude has the rubbers out, and he's Ray's over there going,
oh, I'm sure."
And she's already got his trousers off. He's like,
And she's
yeah,
already
yeah,
taking off her shirt. And he was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, dude, you already showed her the rubber, so you might.
Carry on.
But then we get into the whole entire thing now, where the confrontation between Max
That's good.
and Julie tells him everything is fine, so they leave. So he leaves, and then they dump the corpse into the ocean and agree to never discuss this ever happen again. At first, you're thinking that they're going to push him into the current because that would make more logical sense.
Yeah.
But instead, they're inside that dockyard.
yeah.
It looks
He's not
like.
going anywhere.
Yeah, there's no current. There's nothing to take this body out anywhere. It's just down. You're just putting the body down.
Until
That's
he
it.
floats, and then he'll float up again. And
Right.
it's not gonna-
Yeah, between all four of them, they could have all just like swung him and thrown him off the cliff, and he would have hit the water that way. But,
yeah, or
yeah.
just left him at the side of the road and just waited for the coyotes to get him.
So they go to the
No,
dock, but there's no
Northeast coyotes
scene.
don't exist.
They do it in Scary Movie, but there's no scene of this, how they got him down at the dock. I presume they just put him in the trunk of their car and drove him there, because one minute they're there, then they're not. Because in Scary Movie, they're trying to put him in, slamming the door, and he's still not dead. But
And then when Barry goes, say it, Julie. You will
wraps
take
her
this
up.
to your graves. And I'm like, this. And then he's over there choking her. And then that's when Ray decides, oh, I need to go in and do something. I forgot I'm her boyfriend. So
does very
I mean,
little, though. He's like, oh, no, stop, please.
Oh, Barry. Barry. Yeah, I mean, I would have been like, yep, we'll take it to our graves, straight to the police. I'd have been like, right,
Right.
Barry's idea. Barry dumped the body. It was all Barry.
Yeah.
right.
And also,
It'd be three people against one. So, I mean, that's their story against him.
Yeah.
Also, I know we skipped over it slightly. When they throw the body in, he just before that, body comes back to life, grabs her crown. And I always thought, oh, he's jumping in to get the crown to be a good boyfriend. It's like, no, they're doing that for evidence.
Yeah,
So
it's
they don't
evidence.
But also, that bit kind of ruined it for me. I know they pay it off a little bit later with the whole David Egan thing, but at first, it almost gives it away who the killer's going to be. I'm like, oh, this is a bit too much. I would have just preferred it if the body was dead and there was no signs of life whatsoever. This is a bit of a wink and a nod. What happens? But then, like I
Well,
said,
not only
a little
that,
bit later,
but we
it
even
pays
get
it
to
off.
see the face. We also saw the face, though, too, in the water.
Yeah, but it's quite bloodied, so you can't
Yeah.
really see who it is. It's this film. I was kind of thinking about this as I was watching it. It's trying to be 2 or 3 different types of film at once. It wants to do the post-Scream whodunit, but it doesn't really lean into that as much as it could, because there isn't really that many, and it never really sets up any red herrings apart from Ray. Even Johnny Galecki, I think he's meant to be a red herring for the characters, but he's not for the audience. So it's trying to be that, but it's also trying to be almost like just a thriller more than a slasher film. It's almost 3 or 4 different films kind of rolled into one. It's very strange.
Like misidentification. It's like it doesn't even know what it wants to be. It's misidentification and self-awareness of who it's for and what the film wants to be.
Yeah, because I think slashers were big at the time, so they were more making a slasher film, but it's not really a slasher film as much as some of the other contemporaries. So certainly not as much as a Scream or an Urban Legend or something like that. It's really not that kind of film.
The sequel
No,
is.
and-
The sequel's
Oh,
very
the sequel,
much a
the
slasher.
sequel very much is a slasher film. The sequel is
Yeah.
a straight slasher. Like it's very much somebody getting killed off every 10 minutes for the duration of the film, like a traditional slasher. This is much more carefully paced, and it's almost like a 70s thriller rather than a kind of a slasher whodunit.
Right.
Definitely.
And we'll get into that in a minute, because I also have something that I wanted to bring up, was the fact that we don't see anyone get killed off until like later on, which happens to be Max. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Sure.
So now we're 1 year later. Julie returns to her home from college. She has not spoken with Helen, Barry, or Ray since the accident. Julie receives a letter that reads, "I know what you did last summer." Julie goes to see Helen's sister, Elsa Shivers, played by Bridget Wilson, who tells Julie that Helen has been working there. Julie shows Helen the letter, and they decide to visit Barry. After going over the incident, Barry accuses Max. Of course. The 3 of them go to see Max, but Barry insists on going to the factory alone. Barry persuades Max to go into the back room and attacks him, telling Max he should keep his mouth shut. Julie finds Ray working on the docks. Okay. So let's talk about the fact that this is 1 year later. You're telling me that Julie, Ray, Barry, and all them never seen each other during Christmas break, spring vacation, any seasonal holidays. So they waited until the summer to see each other after all this. And then you get a letter. This is a very lazy postman, by the way, that all of a sudden that just waited until the summertime to send out this letter to Julie saying, "I know what you did last summer."
Yeah, I think you're made to believe Julie has not come home since going to college.
Yeah.
So I think because her mum says, "Oh, you don't call, you don't visit," and all that sort of thing. But Helen and Ray are still in the same town. So why have they
So
never
is
run
Barry.
into each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Barry. Yeah,
no,
Barry
no,
didn't
Barry's
go to
no,
college.
Barry's at the same college as Jennifer Love Hewitt. She says they're at the
Okay,
same
so
college, but
so
they don't
he's
see each
back
other.
from his break as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Love Hewitt and Barry are at the same college, but she says that she doesn't see him. I like the fact when she turns up from college. Well, for a start, you see her at college and she's leaving, and she's got her black best friend who they replace with Brandy in the sequel.
Yeah.
And if I was the actress, I'd be well pissed off because I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh.
Are they meant to be the same person though?
No, I don't think so.
I
It's
was
like,
thinking
oh.
that too, though,
Yeah,
Smith,
yeah.
because I'm like, is this supposed to be Brandy's character from "I Still Know What You Did Last Summer"?
I still know what you
Yes,
did
two
last summer,
black
which
friends.
should be called. Which should be called. I know what you did 2 summers ago, but that's fine.
Yeah. I know what you did
I know
that
what
time.
you did the summer before last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look that up, but I kind of felt like if you were that actress, you would have thought if there's a sequel, I'm definitely getting a look in here, and she absolutely did not get a look in the sequel.
No.
She also turns up. Jennifer Love Hewitt turns up back home clutching a teddy bear like an adult.
Yeah, that's
What
weird.
she's doing.
Yeah.
She then has like the most awkward dinner with her mum, which had a line in it which made me laugh.
What was it?
When she said, "How's the snapper?" And I thought, well, she's just back from college, so it's a little sore, but that's to be expected.
It almost sounds like they're from the UK, and no offense, but it sounds like, dinner that you would have overseas versus it being in the US, right?
Yeah.
Because it's this classic house that is supposed to be out on the sea and the ocean,
Mhm.
and it's like, "How's the snapper?" It's not that great. Well, it's a little dry. Well, it's supposed to be that way.
Well, I wanted monkfish, but we haven't had a good catch this season. It's like, what's this got to do with anything? What
It's
you
got nothing to do with him.
Get on with it.
It also really upset me that neither of them ate their dinner. I get Julie doesn't want to. She's not very hungry. Why is her mother not eating her dinner? Wasting food.
You know why? It's because they filmed that scene 20 times and she's been eating fish all day and she's like, I'm not having it anymore. I'm not eating it. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to move it around my plate, but I'm not going to eat it.
It's like, I'm just going to move it around my plate, not even say anything, and talk about the fact that the muddy fish it's not here,
Yeah.
But then you also have this whole entire thing now too, where Julie's looking at all her awards. You're seeing her father and stuff, and you don't know what's happened to her father or anything. All we know is he died.
Yeah,
That's a really thrown away line. Why? Because your father be turning in the grave. I was like, what? Why do we need to know this? Right? Because
Well,
other
I think
than
it's-
that one scene, you never see her mother again. So
Right. It's like, okay, she's here and then she's gone.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's like, okay, well, there's a murder that's going to be taking place. My daughter buried a body. Well, I'm going to go on ahead and get out of here. Good luck to you. I know that you have a bright future ahead of you, even though you're failing right now. But have a great time, guys.
What's that? You're being stalked and potentially murdered. Well, that kind of sounds like the kind of thing that I could get wrapped up in. So I'm going to go because I really don't fancy getting murdered anytime in the near future. So I'm going to pop off. I'm going to go to Boca Raton. Have a good time.
Exactly.
It's also the bit where she gets the letter and she goes to her mum like, "Who sent this? There's no postmark or home address or return address." It's like, how the fuck should she know? She's not the postman. Who sent it? I don't know. It's a letter. I don't know who sent it. How would I know who sent a letter?
Exactly.
Yeah, funny.
And then you also have the laptops, though, too, with dial-up internet.
Oh, man. That you can access library files because there's no Google quite yet,
Right. There's no Google. There's no research. You can't do anything. You have to go to the library to collect any kind of newspaper clippings.
Yep.
I'm just going to look it up on the internet. Give me 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Yeah. Give me about an hour. I can go do my grocery shopping, come back, and I should have at least the home page ready to go.
Just downloading the new Green Day song. I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah.
Good riddance, time of your life. Got it.
Yeah.
But I just, and then you have this whole thing where she actually goes over to Helen's sister's shop, and she's like, "So I just need the phone number to Helen in New York." Oh, well, you could, you know what? You don't need that number because she's right over here. Oh, so my friend is a liar who decided I'm just going to stay in my hometown. Got it.
No, we learned she went there for a bit and then gave up. And I was like, you might
Right.
want to be a bit more persistent. You can't just go there and after 2 months you're going to be a Hollywood actress, you know?
Just knocking on the doors of all the theaters in New York going, can I be in your show? No, that's not how that works.
This sucks. I'm going home.
It's funny, Bridget Wilson in this is like she hates them. She hates her sister and she hates her sister's friend, but no reason. She just hates them. She's also, as you know, not attractive because she's wearing glasses.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, that old fuddy-duddy. Look at her. Oh.
Yeah, it makes her sister come to the shop by 10. Can you believe it? By 10?
10? I don't get out of bed before 11.
Exactly. But
this is where they have a little chat as well, her and Helen, and there's God, I keep forgetting Jennifer Love Hewitt's character's name.
Julie.
Julie. Sorry, Julie's like, somebody knows Helen, and Helen's like, how? And it's like, well, maybe because you're talking openly about it in public.
Yeah.
You're loudly talking about how you threw someone's body in the sea. Right? In public. Don't talk about it. If you've murdered someone.
It's like this. How do we get away with murder without telling anybody that we got away with murder?
No.
Yeah, no, that person we murdered, yeah. What do you think we should do about that? Maybe not talk about it loudly?
Yeah, the pact you made. You instantly broke that pact.
Yeah.
But then we have the whole entire thing now where after that they go to Barry's house, and Barry's house is loaded, like we said. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, you know what? Max was there. Max would probably... I'm like, Max only looked at the car and thought maybe he ran over a deer or something and just blew it off. He was also pissed off.
Sorry, go on, John.
But it doesn't make sense for it to be Max, because Max just is pissed off because of the fact Ray's with his crush. And that's it. He's mad because he can't have Julie. That's the only thing he's pissed off at. And he doesn't like Barry because he's just a ball bag.
I think it's a good red herring with Max, because when he turns up, they're in the process of carrying the body over. He could have easily saw that. And then when Max drives off, Barry meets him and goes, right, I'm all right now. They could have acted it out for a little bit.
He doesn't
They
wait
could have waited a little longer.
Corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good red herring with Max. And if you those characters, you immediately think, well, yeah, it's Max. He saw us. It must be him.
Yeah, but it's good for about 5 minutes. And then they completely, they remember that they're trying to be a slash film and they need to kill someone off. So they have to have a body at some point early on. Yeah, this is a bit as well where Barry's like, ooh, I know what you did last summer. What a crock of shit. I'm like, be very careful when you say the name of your film followed by what a crock of shit. Because the reviews will write themselves.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I also agree. I mean, I didn't understand the death of Max, to be honest with you, other than just to have a death scene like you mentioned, though, Smith. But we don't even get that until 38 minutes into the film. That's when we actually have our first death scene. Is 38 minutes.
So what I was saying earlier is this is why over time I've come to think of this film as boring, because at the time when I liked slash film, you get somebody getting killed off every 10, 15 minutes or so. Even Scream, which doesn't have the biggest body count prior to the end, still manages to throw in a set piece at fairly regular intervals with somebody getting killed off to keep you sort of interested in the kind of the ongoing murder storyline. This doesn't have that. So I remembered it being quite boring. But when you get to, and I'm sure we'll come to it next, but the Max death scene is very, very well constructed. It's a very well done, very well directed, very well staged piece of suspense cinema. Like from the hook disappearing to the sounds, like the whole thing is done so well. And then it cuts off quite abruptly at the end, but also it kind of works.
Yeah, I liked it.
If they would have kept that same pace with that, it would have worked. But they don't. They decide, okay, now we need to go back to being suspense again. It needs to be now a mystery movie. And now it's all over the place. It does not know what it wants to be. And, then you have Barry who goes into him, sees Max, goes, I got this, guys. I can do this by myself. He goes on ahead, goes in there, goes, you need to fucking leave them all fucking alone right now. Stop sending fucking notes. So
well done.
Yeah.
You've sorted that out.
He goes on and walks back off like he did something. He goes, he won't be bothering you anymore, ladies. I'm going to go back and punch the bag a little bit.
Hero.
That's a good day's work.
Also, as
my
well,
job is done. And then you have that scene that you mentioned, Smith, where the hook is now gone, and we're like, and we as an audience are supposed to like, oh shit, who took the hook?
Yeah, it's not Max.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it goes into this whole entire thing where Max is doing something with the crabs and stuff, and and you're right, it's orchestrated perfectly well, where the hook goes into his chin,
Yeah.
and then jerks him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a powerful scene for me. I really liked the death scene on that. I thought that was original. The other death scenes, not so much. But
the other death scenes don't. This one has the most impact of the death scene. It really does. Although the question I have is why? Why does he kill Max?
And also, this was put in later when they showed test screenings. The audience said there's not enough death, blood, murder, so they wrote this scene back in. So I always wonder, A, why kill Max, but also B, what was going to be Max's fate? Or are we just going to keep thinking throughout, oh, is it Max? Is it Max who's doing it if he's still alive? So, yeah.
you see, I always thought that Max was alive. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen I Know What You Did Last Summer. In my mind, I thought Max was still alive. And it was going to be him and his dad that were killing the teenagers and stuff. But no, it's not Max. I don't know why I thought that. But, it's just me making my own story up, which would be a whole lot better.
But it's a bit of the sequel. That's a bit of the sequel.
Yeah,
where it's the
exactly.
son. It's the son of the fisherman in the sequel.
Right.
It's we'll come to this at the end. I think when the killer is finally revealed and all of his plan is revealed, it's got some big plot holes, and I just don't quite understand why he's done any of this or why he's been so theatrical about what he's been doing. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But I just thought that scene works for me still. I thought it was a horrifying scene.
Very good.
Then you get this, okay? So we end up this killer. All he does is stalk his people. He cuts off someone's hair, gives him a haircut. What else does he do? He winds up putting a dead body in Julie's car with crabs,
and then cleaning it up very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, not a trace.
But I just thought that the threat was not that threatening in a way. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought the scene with Max was horrifying, but after that, you don't really get much with it.
But I didn't mind that because he's deliberately fucking with them. He's like, I can kill you any moment, but I'm not. I'm just going to keep messing with you. And also, there's a bit much later on when Ray goes, I got a letter. And they never show you what the letter is.
Thank you.
But even when I was a kid, that bugged the shit out of me. I was like, what's on the letter? What letter?
Show me the letter. Like,
Ray is barely in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't understand that. It's like, I got a letter too. I'm like, well, bitch, show me the letter. You said you got a letter, so show me the letter.
I think that's still part of the misdirect. I think right up until the end, you're meant to think that perhaps it's Ray that's doing it. I mean, it's quite obviously not him. But they want you to think that it is.
Yeah.
He's also, as I recall, very underserved in the sequel. He's barely in that.
Yeah.
Spends most of his time just trying to get to an island.
That's right.
So now we have, after all that happens, Barry persuades Max to go in the bag and telling him, so Julie, but she runs off. Ray tries to make up with Julie. We don't even know why they broke up. And inside the factory, Max is murdered by someone wielding a hook. The killer attacks Barry next, running him over with Barry's car. The killer is shown wearing a raincoat and wielding a welding hook on one hand. Julie arrives at the hospital to see Barry and finds Helen and Ray there. Julie reveals the man they hit was named David Egan. Helen and Julie track his sister, Missy Egan, played by Anne Heche, to her home. When she has been living there since her brother's death, Missy does not recognize them, and Julie is convinced she is innocent. Missy tells them she had to visit a man claiming to be David's friend named Billy Blue.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the fact that, we have this whole entire thing with Julie and Ray, and we know that they broke up, but we don't know the reason why they broke up.
This shit, I'd imagine.
Well, that's because they killed a guy.
Yeah, that would be a major setback. I can see it.
There's a bit later on where Sarah Michelle Gellar's character says, "What happened between us?" It's like, you killed a guy. That's what happened. That's why you all fell apart. You murdered someone.
But what I like about this is how much it changes. They're all carefree, happy teenagers, and the acting is really good. You buy it that there's all guilt, apart from Barry, all behind their eyes. Like, oh god, this has ruined our lives doing this. And I was like, yeah, good, because you get the feeling now, perhaps in the remake, the kids aren't going to give a shit so much that they killed someone.
Yeah, the performances are strong across the board.
Yeah.
I made that point several times in my notes that everybody in this is really good. Like it's very well acted, and it's very, whilst quite surface level, it's all very well written. You still get a sense of every character, you get a sense of place, you understand what's happening, you understand why everything's happening. The mystery is quite entertaining when you kind of move slightly away from the slasher elements. The whole David Egan thing is very, very well played out. Anne Heche is very good in the small amount of time that she has. Although there's part of me knowing that Anne Heche was a bit of a nutcase when she was alive. You kind of get the feel that maybe they just filmed her at her own home going about her business.
Chop out fish. Yeah.
She's not even acting.
Like
just
filming
her and just like, yeah, let people walk in and say stuff, and she'll just do whatever. She's crazy. It's she also seems to be living in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house for some reason.
Yeah, it does look like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
So she's a suspect. They set up everyone's a suspect. Like even Helen's sister, Elsa, you're meant to believe that she's a suspect because when they were talking back in the shop, she's like,
glancing over there, like trying to figure out what's.
She's just a dick. An unattractive dick with her glasses.
But going back to the bit with Barry, I really like that bit. He's working out and shit. And
in a shack.
In a shack. Weird shower in that gym as well. And the killer's in there. I really like that bit. Although that plan could have gone spectacularly wrong. He runs him over through the building. Like that would have killed him. If he just wanted to mess with him, he could have killed him doing that.
I do question why he didn't just kill him here, because he could have done. And Barry is sort of the worst one. Like Barry was the one that was properly advocating for murdering this man, and he's like, "Oh no, I'll get you later. I've got this perfect opportunity to kill you right now.
You're by yourself.
I'm so confident that nothing's going to go wrong, and I'm not going to be arrested or die accidentally between now and the 4th. That I'm going to leave you still alive." That's very silly.
Exactly, because here's the thing. Barry's in a vulnerable state. He's taking a shower after beating the hell out of the punching bag, which is kind of like, to me, is like a throwback to Nightmare on Elm Street with the karate guy that was in that movie. But, I just think that you're in a vulnerable state, so therefore you can kill the guy, crash through the thing, and you're dead. Like you said, Smith. I agree with you. There's a wasted opportunity. But instead, he waits until he's done working out, and then there's only one manager there, and he's like, "So, is there anybody else there?" "No, just you and me, kid." I'm like,
hanging out in a sweaty shack in the middle of nowhere.
This film does this a lot, but there's hardly, when the killer turns up to do things, there's nobody else around. It's like, why is there nobody else around?
Well, it's a bit later on when he's chasing Helen across a completely deserted park, whilst in the next street over, a parade is happening.
Yeah, it's July 4th. Why is it
everywhere?
It's July 4th night.
They're not all on that one street
watching that shit parade. Yeah,
but then
well ahead.
But then, they wind up running him over. He wakes up in the hospital. Then they're visited by Julie, Helen, and Ray. Julie arrives at the hospital. Well, then, you wind up seeing Barry and where they wind up finding Helen and Ray there. And then, this is where Barry said, well, there's a rain slicker. He's wearing a rain slicker. He also has a hook. And I like how, Ray is just over there just looking at him. And then all of a sudden he has dialogue.
Yeah.
Like
it felt, the bit between Barry getting run over and them cutting to the hospital bed felt like something was missing. It feels like it cuts very abruptly from the killer standing over him to him just being in hospital. It feels like there's a scene missing, like there's something that's been cut out or something that should have happened there that wasn't filmed, where it kind of would explain a little bit more about how he ended up there, because he's still awake when the killer's standing over him. And suddenly just, I'm in hospital.
Yeah, then he wakes up in the hospital, because I think it would have been better if Barry was just dead and it was just Ray, Helen, and Julie. Because then you have... It would have
paced out the killing a little bit more if they'd done it that way. But then
I agree. And Barry plus, it gives us a chance to... Go on ahead.
I say Barry does get a slight redemption arc. Like by the time he does get killed towards the end of the film, he's sort of become a slightly nicer person. Not a nice person, but a slightly nicer
somewhat nice person.
Yeah, he's being supportive to his friends and nice for the first time in the entire film. Even when they were supposed to be his friends, he was still a dickhead.
Yeah.
Right, but he also knows too that he's about to die, and all his friends are about to die. So it's like, well, I need to go on ahead and stop being a dick.
Yeah, that'll really like sharpen you up. That you're like, oh, I might be about to die. Well, that better be nice. Someone might say something nice about me at my funeral.
Question
So-
I had as well: does the killer keep Barry's car, or when he was looking over him, or did he just go like, "All right," and just walk off? Because I've got a feeling in the second one he's got the car again.
That'd be cool though. That would be cool if like the whole
Nice
entire
car.
premise is the killer running around with Barry's car.
Yeah.
And his jacket.
Killed him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, nice jacket. I love that.
Yeah.
That'll go well with my rain slicker. I love the slicker is actually quite a cool look for this thing.
It's cool.
And it really works in this setting because there would be obviously so many people that would own a slicker in this. And we'll come to that later. I have thoughts about that though. So it's a nice little, nice little costume that also with the hat effectively hides the face well enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like it. It makes you guess on who the killer is. There's a mystery element to it. I also like how he has the slicker sleeve pulled up near his cheeks, and then he also has something else covering his face besides the hat. I think it blends in really good as to what this person is.
Yeah.
So, but it would have been hilarious though. The car that ran you over that was supposed to kill you is the car that you're using to kill these teenagers that killed you.
Absolutely.
That would have been funny. But what do you think about the whole Anne Heche thing, though?
I like
them
it.
Showing up at her house, and then we're gonna pretend our car broke down, and we're gonna go, and they don't have a plan. They're just gonna go right in because of the fact that they went on the laptop. It takes about 3 hours for a homepage to do its thing, but they're gonna go without a plan. And they're like, "Well, I haven't thought that through." Well, even Angela Lansbury has a plan.
Yeah, it's like you don't need a plan. You just go in and just don't be too suspicious, but ask some questions. Well, I don't really understand why they need a plan.
Did anyone tell you about the time that we ran over somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi there, your brother. Did he die in vehicular manslaughter? Just throwing it out there.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen whose line is it anyway? So let's do a bit of improv. I'm your brother, and my friend here is the driver of a car that ran him over. Oh, crazy. What would that look like?
Yeah, it's obviously before the days of cell phones were accessible or affordable, whatever. You could have just called, the breakdown service or whatever. So you had to knock on someone's door. Mate, if someone knocked on my door, I was like, "Can I use your phone?" No,
you may not. Can I come
in? I don't know who you are.
You're definitely not coming in.
You are, but I'm keeping this gun on you the whole time. But no, I liked it. It's creepy. It's like, oh, is Anne Heche got something to do with it? And they start feeling all the guilt that they've killed her brother. Yeah, I thought the scene was good.
And the look that Anne Heche has given them, though, is like, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't get really much visitors." I was like, "Really? That I no wonder why you don't."
Yeah, and then when they go, she's like, "Oh no, don't leave." I was like, "What do you mean, don't leave? I already come and use the phone."
I'm like, this woman is like very lonely and don't have no visitors or no friends. It's like, don't leave. I know that you guys are broken down, but you don't have to go.
It's what was funny is that I remember when I was younger watching it, thinking, oh, she was like the creepy older person. Like, you look at her, it's like 25, 26.
Yeah.
She's really young, and she started with a class of 88. I was like, oh, that would make her. No, that would make her about 25. But yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you have that whole entire thing talking about, where basically Anne Heche's character tells her that she didn't do anything or anything, and Julie just all of a sudden just believes her. Okay, she's innocent, she's good, she's cool.
Yeah.
And then they go right back over to Julie's car, and they're talking, and then Anne Heche is supposed to be just set up for like a jump scare.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And then it's like, oh, well, it just started right back up. It's weird how these things just happen, because AAA is supposed to be supposedly come and get them.
Yeah.
Wasting AAA's time. Surely she should have said, well, you need to come back in and call them and tell them not to come out after all. But we're not going to do that.
So, it's just and like Smith said, back in the day, we had no cell phones or anything like that, so it worked well for that plan. Nowadays, it's like, well, you can just use your cell phone.
Exactly. Yeah, there's something very creepy about letting people into your house, but also you going into someone's house as well. It's almost like hitchhiking or something like that. So, but yeah, you can't. Doesn't really work these days because of technology.
I wouldn't be letting people into my house. Can I use your phone?
No.
Well, the thing is, phone calls aren't free. You may not.
Yeah.
Look, my minutes doesn't come in until like 7, so if you can go on ahead and make your phone call, that would be great. Make sure it's not past 5 minutes, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. You can sit and wait for 2.5 hours. I'm going to put some dinner on if you want some dinner,
Yeah.
If it's a collect call, just say we broke down on the side of the road and we don't know where we're at. So
Yeah.
so but yeah, what do you think the whole thing about Billy Blue and what Missy is telling them?
It's a bit of a strange one. I like it again because you're thinking, okay, who's Billy Blue? Is this the guy who's stalking them or whatever? But she's telling them like way too much information. I was like, you don't even know these people. Why are you talking about some guy who you thought was hot who came to see? I don't know. It's interesting, but again, another red herring. And this film's very good at throwing red herrings out there.
I thought this whole Billy Blue, David Egan thing is, I've said it before, but is very well done. Because
I just thought it was interesting.
Properly misdirects you. Right.
It does, because we're thinking it might be Missy that's doing this. But then again, you're seeing how tall this person is.
Exactly.
So that doesn't really work.
No.
But Missy has
Johnny
a slick hole.
Johnny Galecki's
she has some stilts, and then, for extra height.
I mean, it happens in slasher films. There is that suspension of disbelief when it's revealed to be someone, like in Scream 2, where it's Laurie Metcalf, and you're like, all right, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
She is about 5'1". There's no way she's physically capable of lifting people or stabbing people that much.
Yep.
So now we're at Helen's home that night. The killer breaks in, hiding in her closet. The next morning, Helen wakes up with most of her hair cut to bits and soon written in lipstick on the mirror. Julie gets, she ends up saying soon when in lipstick on her mirror. Julie gets a call from Barry, who tells her to come to Helen's on the way. Julie hears rattling in her trunk. She opens the trunk to find Max's body. She shuts the trunk, runs to Helen, and brings her and Barry to her car, but the body has disappeared. Julie is convinced that the killer took the body and they are not safe. Later, they run into Ray, who tells them he got a letter. And all I could think of is, I got a letter. You know that song from Blue's Clues? We got a letter. So,
I think I'm too old for that.
I am too. But here's the thing. I have a stepson, and he watches Blue's Clues, and that's the old. So,
Okay, your son's too young, Stu. I think.
Yeah.
And my daughter hasn't been born yet, so I'm sure we'll learn.
We're gonna watch some
you
garbage.
guys will.
Yeah.
Talking of fathers and daughters,
But
Helen's dad is comically negligent.
I know.
Yes.
He drunk in, and he's just like, not even gonna look. I aspire to that level of fatherdom. When my daughter comes home from school, I'm not even gonna look at her. I'm just gonna stare at the football. And I love this because Helen starts making herself a Diet Coke, poured it into a glass, which really upset me. I've got this. I've written this down. We got the same thing. It's really upsetting. One, she gets a can of Coke out of the fridge. Right, a can is a perfectly decent drinks receptacle. You do not need to pour it into a glass. If you're gonna pour it into a glass, why did you not pour all of it into the glass? And then why didn't you just pour a little bit in? I'll drink a little bit of that. So I've got some in the glass, got some in the can.
It's acting like it's a shot glass.
Yeah.
Like, good God, what are you, you monster? You deserve everything you've got coming to you. That's very upsetting.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe that's why the killer was mad. It was just because she used Diet Coke in a glass.
Just
and
waste.
didn't drink it all.
Fucking waste.
You're adding to the washing up. You're wasting the Coke. Don't grow on trees,
All of a sudden, the slasher all of a sudden is just over the top father who's just tired of his daughter. That's basically.
Yeah.
But, you leave all the bloody lights on.
Yeah. This scene
it's just this. It seems they want to make it also too that her father has like a drinking problem.
Is that
maybe. Like he's a drunk
or something.
Parents
are explored in this. Not that we hear Ray's dad used to be a fisherman. We see one scene with Julie's mum. We get this one shot of the comatose dad, and that's about it. Oh no, you kind of see Barry's mother in the background on the phone when they're at their rich.
Right, that's about it.
Is
Yeah,
her dad meant to have a drinking problem, or is he just having a whiskey while he watches the football?
Yeah, just fuck off. Trying to watch the TV,
Because if that's a drinking problem, then, sir, I have a drinking problem.
But yeah, then you have the sister the night before, where she winds up saying, "All you care about is your hair."
Yeah, which sets this bit up nicely.
Yeah.
I don't mind this again.
Why is the sister so mean? Why is she such a cow?
Like as well, the killer cuts off Helen's hair, but actually ends up giving her a better haircut.
Oh,
It would have been better to save her bald, but I think Sarah was like, "You're not doing that. You are not cutting my hair. You make my hair look nicer."
I've got the new season of Buffy coming up. You're not cutting it all off.
Look, I can go short with shoulder length, but you're not going to cut all my hair off.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you a nice bob, and it's like, especially when she wakes up, she's like, "Oh no, a haircut," and then you cut to Julie like going, "What's happened? A haircut? Oh no!"
Yeah, she finds a body in her car, and Helen gets a haircut. Yeah.
But yeah, then you have that whole entire thing when Max is inside her car. You're hearing crabs, and the killer just goes on ahead, removes it.
I know. There's only two ways he could have done that. One, it's a completely different car, and he's just switched them out. Could have done that. Seems unlikely. The other is that the body was on a tarp, so he could just pull it all out as one without leaving any crabs or blood or anything behind. It's so stupid.
It is.
It's like, is he just
none of the
hiding
neighbours
behind?
saw this.
It's all of this. Like, this is where the bit with the killer stuff in this film doesn't make any sense. Like, he's going to an awful lot of effort to be very theatrical for no reason. Like, how quiet would he have to have been to cut her hair off and write soon? And then how did he get out? He's like crawled down the stairs. Like, don't make a noise. Don't make a noise. The dad wouldn't see anything. He's too busy drinking and watching the football. He just walked straight past. But good lord! And then he's like, right, I've got this body and I've got these crabs. I've kept them. Made sure.
You also hear heavy breathing inside that closet, though.
Yeah.
Whenever.
And why did he take the hook out? He didn't even use it.
I think he used the hook to cut. No, she says scissors.
I was thinking the hook though to myself, and then but yeah, you're right. It's the scissors.
I think Helen's just like, no, that's normally the creepy guy that's in my cupboard. He's always in there.
Yeah.
Comes with the house.
They've all got one around here. It's just it's a main thing.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah.
But I just laughed my ass off though at the fact that she didn't feel him cut her hair or anything.
Well, that's what happened to me. I went to bed one night, woke up, someone had cut it off.
So you were at sleepaway camp and someone decided to go in and give you a haircut.
Yeah.
It was the fisherman that I ran over a few years back.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
I know. Oh, took me eyebrows and all. That was real. I don't know how he managed that with a pair of scissors, but he did.
Yeah.
I got to appreciate the effort.
But that to him, for the killer to remove the crabs that quickly and just to wipe like it wasn't even there and then remove the body.
I mean, also, there's no body here. It still fucking stinks.
Yeah, I was
it's
just
gonna
thinking
smell like dead bodies and crabs.
That'd be horrible.
I've never smelled a dead body mixed with crabs, but I'm going to go out on a limb.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to.
It isn't all roses.
Yeah.
But then you have, after that, Julie decides to see Missy again while Helen and Barry watch each other's backs at the parade. Julie tries to convince Missy that David did not kill himself after Missy presents her with a suicide note when, in the same time style as her letter from the killer, Missy tells Julie to leave. But, when I wanted to see the letter that Ray had. Yes. Because it's like, well, I got a letter. Well, good for you. I'm happy you got a letter, but show us that you have a letter.
And when did he get the letter? Same time as Julie or slightly after?
Right. Like I said, terrible post office. They suck at delivering mail.
He just wanted to be part of the whole gang because they're there like, he ran me over with a car. She put a dead body in her car, cut her hair off. We're going to make a big deal about that still because that's extreme.
It's like, look at her. I'm missing out. I need to be cool too.
I mean, look at her. Look at that haircut. She looks stupid. That is a 1995 bob and it is 1997. What are you thinking? And he's like, well, I got a letter. Yeah. Can we see it? No, you can't.
And then whenever he said, well, you guys need to go over to the parade to watch each other's backs. And yeah, when we find them, we're going to go ahead and knock them the fuck out. And Ray's like, you guys are acting like fucking vigilantes.
Someone's trying to kill you. It's reasonable. If someone's Someone's trying to kill you. It's like, yes, I will try and knock him out. I think I'm going to let him do it.
Yeah.
It turns into a Scooby-Doo episode all of a sudden.
Everyone in the
Oh
parade
no, it's old man Smithers.
Yeah, that bit when Barry like shoulder tackles that guy down, turns around and goes, oh, he's really scared. It's like, yeah, but how do you know that wasn't the killer? He could have just been
Might have
playing
been.
dumb, like, you know. What was
And
he
then when he turned
expecting to
around, like-
see when he turned him over?
Max,
Like,
Ray.
Yeah, Harry the
no,
hypnotist.
he's like, you got me. I was the killer. I chopped
Yeah.
up the person's hair. I killed Max. Yep, you got me.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he's looking for. Wow.
Yeah.
It's also that is brilliant, that bit on the parade with it.
But another thing that's funny though is Barry sticks out like a sore thumb on that float.
Yeah.
'Cause you-
all these
Broken
attractive
arm and
women
face,
and
yeah.
this noodle-haired man.
because he has a broken arm
Yeah.
because he just got out of the hospital and he's all stretched up. But you're gonna let this man ride on a float.
Ruin the parade.
He also has been wearing that same jumper for about 2 weeks. It must smell bad.
Yeah.
He's only got one jumper. It's also you see all the people in the crowd in the slickers, and it's like, now where is this set? Is it Maine? Is it? I'm assuming it's like the northeast.
South Carolina, North or South
It
Carolina.
seems like Maine or it seems like Boston or something, but it's very weird. They never tell you where it's set in.
No,
Southport, isn't it?
Southport. I would assume it was like a New England type thing. But
Okay.
I've never been to that part of America in the summer, but I would assume on July 4th, you wouldn't be wearing a heavy rain slicker
You
in the
wouldn't.
middle of the day.
No,
Yeah.
you would not be. You'd be hot as hell in that
Yeah.
slicker. But I do like the fact that Helen's looking around and you see a bunch of people in slickers.
Because why
Like it's
not?
sort of a Comic-Con.
Sweating their ass off. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, why did I wear this?
But again, it's almost like, oh no, that's not him. That's not. But again, you don't know who you're
You don't
looking
know
for.
who you're looking for. It could be anyone.
Everyone's a suspect, especially on
Yeah.
how loud you're talking about the fact that
Yeah.
you killed somebody and buried their body.
Hey, is that the guy that we killed? No. Is that the guy that we killed? Did you kill a guy? No. It's a secret. We definitely didn't kill a guy.
We got Julie screaming in the middle of the street while you waiting for.
Excuse me,
the
sir,
neighbours
but are
must
you
go,
the guy
"What's going on?"
that someone ran over last 4th of July? No? Okay, good. Okay, just making sure.
You heard nothing.
How
You
many-
heard
how
nothing,
many-
you don't know nothing.
How many times have you been run over and dumped in the sea? Hands up if it's none.
But Julie decides, okay, so do you like the fact that you have Julie who confronts Missy again? And then Missy shows up. She's got a letter too,
Yeah.
but it's from her brother that died.
Yeah.
And
Did
she
you
said,
not recognise your brother's handwriting? So that's not his handwriting. It's the killer's handwriting.
but supposedly it's
I don't know
not.
that I'd recognise my brother's handwriting.
Yeah.
I don't. But she's like, yeah, we had to hide this from the insurance company because if we said that he killed himself, they wouldn't have collected them. We couldn't collect the money.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
and
which
then-
is fair. Which is fair. That is, as far as benefits fraud goes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Insurance fraud. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
They pay off something really well here as well. When they throw the body in at the start, there's a tattoo that says Susie. And then when this point when Julie's trying to reason with Missy, saying, look, it was your brother, blah, blah, blah. He's got that tattoo that says Susie. He goes, no, he doesn't. I was like, oh, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah. Also, just quickly to go back to the bit where they go on the parade and all the people in slickers, it's probably the creepy guy standing on the roof.
Yeah.
They're looking around going, which one could it be? Probably that guy. Probably that guy up there. Oh yeah.
It's like trying to find a Where's Waldo picture, right?
Killer edition. Yeah.
But yeah, well, Helen and Barry watch each other's backs at the parade. Julie tries to convince Missy that David did not kill himself after her. Missy, she even tells her this. Well, I hate to tell you this, but he didn't kill himself. What do you mean he didn't kill himself? The cops wrote it up as a suicide. No, he was killed. We killed him. We ran him over. And then Missy tells her, well, I think you should go now.
I don't think I'd get my insurance money if you've killed him, so you can just go. He's still dead. It's not really changed anything.
Right, it's been a year. I'm good. I got the house.
Yeah, look at this shit house I've got and this shit clothes I'm wearing. I've clearly got no money.
Yeah, because they
look like a welder too. that's and also too. She's like, yeah, I'm good. I got this bent up fucking mailbox that my brother left me. I've got.
Living
So
the
I'm
dream.
good. I don't need
All
nothing.
the squirrels I can skin.
Now we have the Croker pageant. Helen sees Barry being murdered by the killer. However,
That is
neither
good.
the killer nor the body are found afterwards. A police officer drives her home, but the killer lures the cop into an alley and kills him. Helen runs to the store where Elsa is working, but the killer finds and murders Elsa. He then chases Helen into the attic where she jumps out the window in the dumpsters. Dazed Helen looks up at the window, but no one is there. Helen flees through the back alleys to the whirring parade, but hears a noise and turns to look. Helen then turns around where the killer shove her into the back and slashes her near the tires, and he winds up killing her.
Yeah.
So
This third act now goes into full-blown slasher movie because then we get
Yeah.
like 4 people killed in quick succession. You know, you get Barry, you get Helen, you get Elsa, you get that
Yeah.
cop. Oh, and
Yeah,
then,
it's all, I've forgotten about the cop.
Yeah.
It's so if we kind of wind back just when they first get to the new pageant, and this is like got to be for people in high school, just any high school. The woman singing is easily in her mid-30s.
I thought this.
She's like 35. It's like, oh, what year are you in at school? I don't know.
Kept getting held back.
You're getting held back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very attractive, but I'm very dumb.
yeah, I couldn't even get a GED at this point.
And again, this is the bit where the killer has killed Barry and managed to clean all of that shit up. So when the
Yeah.
cop goes up there,
What
there's
is-
only a tiny bit of blood on
He's
the
the
back.
most clean. I have to say this. He's a very clean killer.
He's very
If
respectful.
he was going to like rent himself out to like do house cleaning, I'd be all up for that because that guy can get shit done and he can get it done quick. I mean,
Yeah.
there would be so much fun. This was a question I had. Was this a PG-13 in the US or was it
No.
an R?
Rated R.
Rated R. There is so little blood in this film. Like he is getting hooked to death, and you see nothing.
Yeah. Max was the goriest kill out of all of them.
But even that hadn't got any blood, really.
It does
was
when
like
he pulls him across.
yeah,
it
but a
all
little streak of
smears
blood.
over.
But
Yeah.
that's. I mean, in terms of the amount of actual blood in this film, it's very little.
It's very little, but they also go with the cussing as well. You
Exactly.
can't have more than one F word in a movie.
Oh,
Otherwise, it's rated R.
okay.
Yeah, they said
And then
motherfucker
there's-
as well. So yeah.
So yeah. But you're right though, with the whole entire thing with the hook going through Barry as the pageant's going on, and then the cop doesn't do an efficient job. He doesn't go to the front of the storeroom where everything is at. He's just looking around, glancing. Yep, nothing around here. Everything is good. Are you sure you heard what you heard? Because I don't think I think Barry's just playing a trick on you. You know how them people are.
Yeah. Well, sounds like if someone had been murdered to me, that would be an awful lot of paperwork.
An awful lot of
One-
blood up here. It's spotless.
Well, it just goes to show that there was no point in them going at the cops at the start because they probably would have been really inefficient about that as well. You know, so
Right.
the cops in this town are shit.
Oh, you say you killed someone? Well, that sounds like something I'd need to write up, and I
Yeah.
can't write.
I would have just thrown a body in there if I were you.
And you say it went in the sea, so the tide would have swept that. Well, that is fine. Well, it seems like you've dealt with your own mess, and we like that around these parts. I don't know what part of America I'm from at this
Yeah.
point.
But better yet, it's like, okay, they see let's say for instance,
Yeah.
the cops do see the car Barry's. Well, I see that you ran over a deer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right, guys. It's all right, fellas. Oh, you were drinking. How much? Okay. That's
That's fine.
perfectly fine. Just go on ahead. Just don't do it again, okay? Go around this curve on the mountain to make sure you don't run over anybody because this is the second death on July 4th that we had this summer. Well, last summer and the year before last.
Yeah. And the upcoming movie where the same shit's going to happen again.
It generally happens about once a year. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Are you hit a deer here? But it's got its Rolex trapped in there. Yeah, deers wear Rolex around these parts, as I find.
They're very rich and very efficient.
We don't know.
Those deer are
They
on
say on high
time.
alert. All
Say
right,
what you
now,
want
fellas.
about the deer around here, but they are punctual.
Okay, I'm definitely making a short out of this.
Yeah.
But you know, then you have this other thing though too. Helen's on the stage watching the girl, and she's this girl. It's like I wasn't this bad last year when I won.
It's like, yes, you were.
You didn't do anything. You just said you were going to be an actress, and it's something you won. There was no talent
Right, we missed this whole
whatsoever.
entire thing. So we're seeing,
Yeah,
right, we're actually watching Helen through her eyes on seeing how
yeah.
bad she looked. Because
Yeah.
that was a year, now she's actually matured.
Why would the killer not save Barry for last? Because Barry was the one that wanted to do all the cover up. Barry was the one that was trying to get them all to hide the bodies, throw them in the river. Barry was the one that he grabbed at while he was under the water. Why did he kill him first?
I think
Opportunistic.
I think it was just for us as the audience of wanting someone that is so bad,
Oh
wanting
yeah, no.
to
From,
be
a- from, a,
killed.
from a script perspective, I completely understand it, and then the order of the way you always have to head to the final girl. But it's just why?
It's weird.
Just saw him up there alone and just thought, "Oh, here's my opportunity. I'll do it." But again, he could have done that earlier
He
when
could have done that when
they
he
were
run him over
legit.
the car, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
I think actually that from here, the bit with Helen in the cop car, I completely forgotten about the cop getting killed. When I watched this, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'd completely forgotten about this bit. But I remembered the bit where from the minute she's running away from him through to the bit where she gets killed is such a well-directed sequence from beginning to end. Like it's so well done. From the suspense of her getting in through the door, but then the killer immediately disappears because Elsa can't see him.
Yeah.
And he was right on her heels. She's like, doesn't seem to be anyone out there. Like, where the fuck did he go? And then he gets in the back door, kills Elsa. Again, why? What did she do? You don't even know this woman. You've just killed her.
Witness.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. So that family have lost both kids in one afternoon.
Yep.
That'd be quite a hard morning. Dad's probably just like,
Probably doesn't realise. Yeah.
I wonder if my daughter made it home yet. No,
Yeah.
not both of them didn't. Okay.
wait, I had two?
Oh yeah, I have two of these too. 2 Coors Lights. Okay. Here's a glass. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed
But,
it where he was carrying her body through the store. Just
That
on
was
a hook.
cool.
that was cool. That was like the only cool thing. Like there's only 2 cool kills in this whole entire thing. In my opinion, you have that one, and then you also have the one with Max. The other ones were unoriginal, and I didn't really like the deaths that much.
Yeah, the Sarah Michelle Gellar death in particular, you don't even see her die.
I wondered if she had died when I first watched it, but then later on you say, "Oh no, she's dead."
But all I see is moving fucking tires.
Yeah, you just
And
see
then-
him.
And then the mixing of it doesn't even feel like he's going through her skin. It feels like he's just punching tires.
Yeah.
It's very lot of fast cuts going on, isn't
He
it?
has the killer's ability in these films as well to teleport. Because he is like, she jumps out of that window and she runs, and he's gone, I would assume, down the stairs, out the front of the store, to the deserted street where nobody is, round to the busy street where a lot of people is, walked along that street and waited just for the right timing for her to get distracted so that he can appear right behind her. He's like,
Right,
"Oh, no,
because
no,
then she sees
hold on."
fireworks and she gets
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah, because she's coming to him. Wait. She's turned around. Yes, now. Haha. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also in the bit in the store when she's like, how and when and why? And again, this is the killer being really, really theatrical. Did he have time to cover himself in a tarp like a mannequin and stand really, really still? Why did he do that? Why?
For a jump scare, Smith. For a jump
But,
scare.
like, this is what I'm saying. Like in these things, do people think like that? In these films, like, right, well, I've messed with them, and I put that body in the car. That was good. I took that out. Yep. I cut all her hair off. That was pretty good.
Sent Ray a letter.
Next, oh right, I'm in here. She's in here. This will be good. I'll throw this tarp on myself. This will be classic stuff.
I really gotta step it up this time.
Yeah. Oh dear.
You won't even recognize me. She'll just go right on by me. I'll pop out right behind her.
Yeah. And I still won't kill her. She'll get away.
She'll get away.
Easily be beaten by this tiny woman.
It's like I gotta beat my own score. So let me go on ahead and really do it up. So let me go in and stand up on this thing. But yeah. Then you have Julie goes to see Ray on his boat and tells him the story. And about but he does not. But here's the thing: she doesn't believe. She doesn't believe him. Julie knows the name on his boat is Billy Blue, and accuses him of murder. He chases her, but is knocked unconsciously by a man who tells Julie to get on his boat. After she does, she learns he is Ben Willis. She is chased all over the boat. Well, this is what I have. Ray regains consciousness and steals a boat to save Julie in a room full of ice. Okay.
Even though he has his own boat. So
Yeah.
he didn't really need to steal another person's boat, but he's like, I'm not ruining my boat.
And why didn't the killer just kill Ray? Instead of just like knocking him out, why did he just kill him?
Yeah, I loved it when he knocked him out, and then he was like, easy, child. I was like, well, he's the killer.
Yeah.
That's creepy old man's clearly the killer.
Right, because we also learned that, Julie also learns that the killer is Ben Willis, a fisherman. He murdered David Egan after David and Ben's daughter, Susan Willis, were involved in a car crash near where the four teenagers hit Ben. Susan was killed in an accident and David was unarmed. Ben blamed David and killed him a year later, making it look like suicide. On the way home, Ben was hit by the group.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but
I can only
I like
assume
how
David was sat on the porch and he just went up there, shoved him, and as he walked across the road, bang! I was like, oh, that's a lot of bad luck, isn't it?
It's a great reveal, but it does beg the
Yeah.
question. Like he waited a year to kill the person he blamed for killing his daughter, and did it in the most straightforward, simple, pushed him off a pier way possible. Then when these guys hit him in the car, he was like, right, well, there's only one thing for it. I'm going to have to kill them, but I'm going to have to do it in the most theatrical way I possibly can, and I'm going to wait a year. I could just do it next week. It'd probably be easier if I did it next week.
Look, I got some other stuff to do. So let's see. I have a couple of doctor's appointments I have to go to. Oh yeah, there's a family outing I have to go, and then after that, yeah, I'm all booked up for the year.
I've got tickets to Wicked on Broadway. I can't really move that.
And I got tickets to Pearl Jam, and then Korn, and then I don't think I can do that.
But you don't know how long Ben Willis was in the hospital after that. He got run over, then thrown into the water. He could have been in the hospital for months. But and I suppose as well, where some of them have gone off to uni, maybe he hasn't been able to track them down yet. But I don't know.
No, he knows where they are. He's like, but that's a 2-hour drive, and
yeah. No, I'll wait for them all to come back.
Getting more expensive, so I'll wait.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was too, he has like a little tugboat, this killer does, and he has and then you have Ray who gets in this little small speedboat, little small boat with a little motor on it, Yamaha motor, and I'm like, in real life, I'm just like, there's no way he would actually catch up to him. And then I thought about Julie whenever she looks at the dock moving, I'm like, you would actually know the boat is actually moving.
Yep.
Yeah, and she does the little final girl circuit that you always get in these films where she runs around and finds all her dead friends' bodies and then runs around being confronted by the killer. Then Ray gets on the boat, then Ray gets knocked off the boat. There's absolutely no way he'd get back out on that boat after being knocked off. That boat is moving quite quickly. He'd be gone. There's no way he's catching up again. He's on his little tugboat, tugging along. What does a fisherman who works on a tugboat have? A tug job. Now...
That's funny.
Yeah.
But
also, I love the way the dead bodies are stashed in the ice. But at what point did he have time to carry 2 dead bodies across town and stuff them in the icebox without anyone seeing this?
And did he bring Elsa's as well? Is she in there?
Yeah, she's in there as well. And
yeah, everybody.
It's 3 then. So he's had Ryan Phillippe in there. He's gone back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah.
I wonder if he does this during the daytime or he waits at night, because even Dexter had to wait during the nighttime to dump the bodies.
What's he keeping them for? A couple of those people have been dead a couple of days. What's he keeping them for? That's just evidence. You should drive it. It's even dump them. Don't keep them.
Right.
Imagine he's going to go out in the middle of the sea, just throw them out for the fish to eat.
Yeah, most serial killers keep trophies. He keeps all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I've kept the whole body. That's my trophy. I hope they never catch me.
Could you imagine though if this was Dexter? Oh, you have blood slides. That's cute. Let me show you my trophies.
Yeah.
Go in the freezer. There's loads.
Just open the freezer below the beer. You actually see the full body. So yeah, but then you have this whole entire confrontation of make sure when you kill somebody, make sure that they're really dead.
Yeah, and I was like, somebody there should have said, "Good advice." Before knocking him off the boat. They don't do anything.
It would have been perfect for Ray to say, to be honest with you.
Good advice.
And then takes his hand off.
Yeah, that bit was cool.
That would have been perfect.
Also, that is not good advice. Somebody, when you kill a man, make sure he's really dead. No, if you've hit a man with a car, call an ambulance. Don't make sure he's dead. It's not like, I've hit this man with my car. I'm going to go get the shovel out of the boot and I will finish him off.
Yeah. It was cool. He goes to go with the hook. His hand gets caught with the ropes. Ray turns on the lever and he flies up. And nice bit of horror. He gets his hand cut off. I was like,
He just gets caught by himself, just being an idiot.
Yeah.
So now we know how Captain Hook lost his hand to Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
he
was
tells
the origin
everyone
story
it
of
was
that.
Yeah, tells everyone it was a crocodile. Nah, he just got it caught in
No.
the rigging, and then Freddie Prinze Jr. cut it off. Prick.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and his lovely hair.
But yeah, and then we have this whole thing where then after that happens, Ben gets his hand caught, caught in the rope. But then we have on land, Ray tells Julie the reason he went to see Missy was because he was guilty and had to know who they hit. He tells her he loves her, and they embrace. Ben's body is not recovered. And then the sheriffs are like, well, do you have any idea why this fella right here would want to kill you? No. All right.
Well, that
We're
sounds
going to
all right.
document that. These kids don't know why this man would want to kill him. The reason is because he's white.
Yeah. Oh, but they have found his hand on a hook. They found them. Oh, don't worry,
Right.
the body turn up eventually. They always do. Like, okay, how many bodies are found in this ocean
That's
where they live?
Just lazy police work. It's like, do you have any
Yeah.
idea why this guy wants to kill you? You don't. Well, that's good enough for me. Lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch, hey, Bobby, yeah.
Yeah.
Document this, tape everything up for evidence. We're going to go on ahead and eat at the Crab Shack, okay? We're going to eat over there. We don't have to worry about no documents or paperwork. Paperwork in this department is overrated. We don't do paperwork here. What about there's no car wreck? Everything is fine, Bobby. Do you understand, Bobby?
Do
Yeah.
you know what paperwork needs? Paper. Do you know where paper comes from? Trees. Do you know
Trees.
what that's doing? Damaging the environment. I'm eco-friendly.
You're absolutely right, Smith. You're right. You're right about that. It's destroying the environment, and that's we don't need to have that. We don't need to do it or kind of kill any more trees. Smokey wouldn't like that. So a year later, Julie is in her second year and is going on a trip to New York with Ray. She receives a letter resembling the one that she got from Ben, but it only contains a pool party invitation. Julie returns to the bathroom, which was filled with steam on the shower door. I still know is written. Ben jumps through the shower door, attacking her at the end of credits. There you go.
I love it.
It's interesting, like just in those last bits. So you got the bit with Ray and Julie where he says, "Sorry, I didn't tell you. I wanted you back." That doesn't make any sense. And then it's got some of the worst writing and line deliveries of the entire film when he goes, "No one gets me like you do," and she goes, "I understand your pain." It's like, oh God, oh no.
Remember something else that she said too? She goes, I understand where you're coming from, Ray. I do, but I cannot be with you. And then she just runs off.
Oh, the way she runs off is so fucking funny. That was much earlier in the film. Even as a kid, I found that really funny.
Just runs away. It's like, all right. I loved a bit at the end as well when she's like, her roommate brings her the mail while she's in the shower. Oh, you got some mail. It's really important that you have this right now while you're in the shower. It's like, could it wait?
That is the
No,
worst
they have to set up for the
invitation.
sequel, Smith. They had to set up the sequel for a couple of years later.
That's how I always like to read my mail, just in the shower, just get the letters out. Well, that's brilliant. Just get the next one. Oh shit, that's brilliant. Oh no, probably shouldn't have opened this where there was a load of water.
And also, that is the worst invitation I've ever seen. It's just like a handwritten note saying pool party this Saturday.
Also, are they giving these to each individual person? Have they like handwritten these thousands of times to be delivered to each individual person for the pool party? Or like, are they just inviting like her?
Yeah, but take it
No,
out.
we'll just invite
I can see she doesn't even go to the pool party. It's like, well, did you go to the pool party? No. Well, did you get the memo? No. There was something that was written down, and I opened it up in the shower. It says, pool party?
Yeah.
No. I didn't get it.
All I could see was poo, and I mean, I'll happily wee in the shower, but that's just too far.
Yeah. You know, this one which says, "I still know." It's very perfectly written. It's very nice. You've taken the time to really carefully write that out.
Very theatrical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also that doesn't happen because in the sequel that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
No,
is it meant to be a dream sequence? I suppose it's supposed to be a dream sequence.
Yeah, it is. They explain that in the second one, because at the start of the second one, she's having a dream that she's in a church, and then she wakes up screaming that it was a dream, and then the guy goes, "Oh, did you have that dream about the shower again?" I went, "No, it was a different dream." So, okay.
But you know what, though? I have to say this. At least they waited a year to make another I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Always a
So
year.
at least they got it while it was hot.
Yeah, it was. I remember liking the sequel, and I was going to go back and rewatch it ahead of this, but I didn't. That's true story. I remember really liking the sequel, even though I suspect certain elements, like Jack Black playing a white Rasta, will not have aged particularly well.
No. Playing a Jamaican guy? No.
No.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
Second one is
I'm gonna watch the second one at some point this week.
I might
I
actually do the
will
same
wait
thing.
until my other half is out before I watch it. Because...
My wife was just making fun of me the whole entire time. She goes, "You're really watching this?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "This is corny." I said, "Why do you think that I'm actually doing older movie reviews to see if this actually holds up the way it did whenever I remembered as a kid?"
Exactly. Watching the crap stuff is funnier.
Right. But still, okay. So now that we talked about this with a modern day eye, now that we're all grown ups, what do you give I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I gave it an 8 for nostalgia. And I'm going to give it a 7 because I still enjoyed it, but I didn't love it as much as I did when I was a kid. I did get bored at various points during it. I was like, oh, come on, like that. But yeah, overall, still a good film. So I give it a 7.
I give it a 5. I would now give it a 7. It was a lot better than I remembered it. And when I removed myself from that need to have somebody getting killed every 5 or 10 minutes, what it actually is a perfectly serviceable thriller with kind of across the board good performances and some very, very well executed sequences. I mean, I can't say enough that sequence with Sarah Michelle Gellar all the way through from her running to her death is so well done and so well paced that it's just very, very entertaining and very, very, like, the time flew by when I was watching this. So yeah, I had a really good time with this. So 7.
Okay. For me, I'm going to give it a 5. I know I gave nostalgically a 7.5, but I'm dropping it down to a 5. It's just the overall over the top Barry for me that just doesn't do it for me. And then you also have the whole motivation with the killer doesn't really do much for me like I wanted to. I wanted to be more threatening. I wanted to be more of that slasher. Even though you get towards the end, I'm like, okay, well, you wasted a whole entire 50 minutes and you only have maybe 10 minutes of a slasher movie when I was expecting a whole slasher.
That's true.
So
yeah, that's fair.
That's why I'm giving it a 5. But still,
it's interesting, perhaps the different perspectives you go in. So interesting that both of you went in having a lot more fondness for it than I did. So I think maybe when I went in, my expectations were lower. I was sort of this is going to be quite boring. I'm not going to enjoy this. And actually, I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to because my expectations were so low. Because I remembered it not being that good, I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this when I was younger. I watched it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, guys, I have a question for you. What do you guys have coming out for your podcast? Tell everybody where they can follow you and all that.
Sure, yeah. So our next episode, we're covering Power Rangers, the movie from 1995, which is going to be an experience.
Yeah, I experienced it about 2 years ago when I reviewed that. So,
well, say no more. Yeah, so we're the It Doesn't Hold Up podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, or X as it's now known. And yeah, all the good places you listen to podcasts. So yeah, do follow us and check out our next episode on Power Rangers, the movie, which is coming out in about 2 weeks.
Okay. So next Thursday, I will have It's Not That Bad podcast coming on. We're going to be talking about The Departed. So we're going to be doing that at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that. Josh Prey, comedian Josh Prey, will be back on the show with us again. We're going to be talking about who asked for this. Sequels, prequels, remakes, stuff like that, about who asked for a sequel to something or a prequel to something. So we just thought it would be a funny bit that we would actually do, just like how we did the last segment that we ended up doing was It's So Bad It's Good. So that's one of the things that Josh and Ross, myself did. But yeah, check that out. Josh will be back sometime soon. We'll let you know whenever his schedule gets freed up from touring. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for now. Go ahead and check out our Superman reviews that we did. Check out the Josh Prey episode. I promise you guys are going to laugh your asses off the whole entire episode. So with that being said, thank you, Stu. Thank you, Smith, for joining me for this. It was always a pleasure, my friends. I appreciate this. I can't wait for you guys to come back again.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And remember,
Here and now we take the Sargrave. Agreed.
Yeah, okay.
We take this to our grave! Let me hear it! Right here.
So, guys, always until next time. Catch you guys on the next one.